Hey, everybody, welcome into another, I don't know, Casey, what we even call this anymore, but you're back in Kansas City, beautifully lit offices of Chief of Staff Kansas City. I think I might be lit well in a moment. I'm at Chase Field as we're recording this in Phoenix for a day game. The roof is, there you can see, the roof is closed. Give everybody a little peek. There's really nobody on the field, just some workers right now. It's the morning, and the lights are just coming on right now. So welcome to the world of baseball. It's hard, we're neighbors, and yet this time of year it's hard to catch up. So it's good to see you.
Good to see you too, my friend.
April's weird. I know you love all sports. April's weird for baseball because if you get off to a great start, everybody thinks you're going to win the World Series. If you get off to a bad start, you're the worst team ever. And that doesn't mean you're not, but there's a long ways to go. And this sport, more than any, is all about failure. So I wanted to kind of tie that into the business world because we all have stretches, days, weeks, months, even years, pandemic, where you have to either trust the process or reevaluate it. How true is that in your world?
Yeah, good question. Well, I guess I'll talk about when I took over here at Chief of Staff, 9 months into becoming a business owner for the first time, the pandemic hits. I signed a 5-year lease 2 weeks before the lockdown here in our office, had it built out, beautiful office, and we stayed home for a year. And then at one point we have significantly more money in receivables than we do in the bank account. I'm like, crap, this is why people don't become business owners. But we stuck with it, and ultimately we ended up growing tremendously from it and launched additional divisions out of necessity. And here we are a few years later and much further along than we ever dreamt of being. But I think it's because we kept our head down and kept doing things the right way and focused on fundamentals.
Yeah, I think there's a great lesson to be learned there. And I want to be careful not to just make the assumption and say, okay, if you trust the process and just stay the course, that everything will be all right. Sometimes, baseball term here, you got to be able to hit the curveball and you've got to be able to adjust. I mean, I'm standing here right now and the visiting dugouts right behind me. I know this is kind of cool stuff for people that aren't here on an everyday basis, but last night, as you and I were recording this, Brady Singer had an amazing game for the Royals. They've been really struggling. And he says after the game that I just changed the grip on my slider in between starts based on what the pitching coaches saw from the analytics. So you can trust the process. That doesn't mean that you have to stay the course no matter what and be without adjustments.
For sure. I mean, like I said, we launched another division during the pandemic out of demand. It was not something we were planning on launching early on, but if we just would have continue to do the exact same thing over and over, that's the definition of insanity. So there's fundamentals you can stick with, but hit the curveball, go with the pitch, hit it to opposite field. If it's outside, lean into it. And I think we've done that a lot in business, and we've grown a lot because of it.
Well, and I think the other thing too is that that you can have your predictions on the job market and what's going on in the world, and you have to be able to anticipate, but you can't anticipate everything. So as you talked about, you do have to be able to lean in, make those adjustments, and we don't know what else is coming. We do know people need to work. We do know that people need to be happy, and that's the last piece I wanted to add to you, because I get hit up by people every single day, especially when the team is struggling, which they did in April. Of, oh man, why is this going wrong, and how are you hanging in there? First off, I'm fine, but it's amazing sitting by the dugout every night. The loudest voice I hear is Salvador Perez cheering his teammates on. How important is that in any office place culture, to be able to have that person or those people, especially from a leadership standpoint, that don't cower when failure comes?
Optimism is essential. You always have to have some sort of a cheerleader, getting people motivated. We're all going to hit peaks and valleys. You can't let the highs be too high and the lows too low. And that's very true in my industry. But everybody needs a little Salvi. Salvi's always optimistic. He's always happy to be out there. He's always happy to be playing. And I feel the same way in my office. There are down times, but I absolutely love what I do. I pinch myself. This is what I get to do every day, is help people out. He gets to play baseball every day. But just because it's the worst time on the baseball field, the worst time in my industry, doesn't mean that that's bad overall in the grand scheme of things. We're coming out ahead in the long term for sure.
And one of the things I told you I'd mention, we'll wrap it up with this, is that the good old Yogi Berra phrase of "it ain't over till it's over." And then there's something to those that don't give up. It can sound a little cheesy, right? I mean, that one of the Royals' first wins of the year came in San Francisco with a dramatic comeback in amidst all of their struggles. there was a bit of resilience, a lot of resilience there too. And I think that probably plays every day in business.
Absolutely. You got to stick with it. And, sometimes the downtimes are what brings you out the strongest. I tell people all the time, the 07, 08, 09 recession is one of the best things that ever happened to me in my career. It made me work harder and tighten the belt and figure out the fundamentals. And here we are years later. And I attribute a lot of that to anything we've done to this point.
All right. Good stuff. Good to catch up with you, even though it's virtually. I'll see you in the neighborhood or back home or something like that. Just, you got better lighting, but I just want to at least give you a feel that
you may have
right
a cooler
here,
setting though.
This right here is the path. See that? Right
Love
to the
that.
plate. So I'm right in the on deck circle here, where Bobby Jr. will be standing here today.
Maybe we'll do one of these at an away game later this summer. I got a couple places in mind.
All right, wherever you want to go, we'll do it. Thanks, Casey.
All right, see you, buddy. Bye.